you ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you. Oh!
Ahoy there, mateys, and welcome to Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast live. I'm your captain, Jimbob Opalshorts, and tonight we've got some super epic stuff planned for you. In fact, I've got some of the crew with me here already. Looks like Neptune's found himself on in here, which is great. Good evening, Neptune. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I am fantabulous. And, everybody that's out there, man, that's giving us a check out this evening, welcome for the first ever Unconstitutional Awakening live over there on YouTube and over there now on Kick. That's our newest channel that will be able to be found on when we're live. Of course, all of these episodes that are being recorded and they will be re-uploaded to our normal channels over there at Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute here in the near future. We'll totally be live streaming there as well. And you can also catch us on all of our audio apps as well. And I am just so excited to finally be back with you guys. We took a little bit of a hiatus this summer, but it is what it is. We all got pretty busy lives. You can't help it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So welcome everyone as you slowly start pouring in here, man. I'm so excited about this. How about you, Neptune? Are you excited to get this thing going, man?
Yeah, this is it's definitely different. Normally work off of a prepared speech, but I can fire from the hip.
Same here. I've got a little bit of stuff that I usually have prepared, but hey, we're just gonna wing it this evening, and I think that's the way we can completely roll with it. So, you guys know, of course, I'm gonna keep going on about some things, but check on over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com. We've got some great things coming here in the near future and such. So, I was sitting here waiting around because I'm pretty sure that Steven, Luis, and Bandit are all joining us too. But they'll be here as they be here, I guess. We'll be here for a little while entertaining you guys. I know that the one thing I wanted to apologize for to begin with is such a long hiatus with all silence, but my computer fried again, and thanks to Neptune and Steven, we're back on the road. So it just seems to be an endless thing with me. It's all right though. So I do know that that we did lose an episode. This episode is titled episode 184. The original 184 featured John, Canadian John, our good buddy Uncle Johnny up there. And he totally is going to be upset with me that we lost the episode. But I guess it is what it is when you're working with digital things. Things like that happen. Not a whole lot you can do about it, I guess. So Neptune, I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off into the thing here, man. Have you seen the stuff going around about the new FCC regulations that just surprisingly passed all over the place?
That I haven't seen. What's going on?
All right, so our kumquat in chief has helped, and his administration has pushed through some new FCC regulations into the world of the internet. They are apparently going to try to regulate the internet to kingdom come. The way I see it, and from what I was reading here recently in all the paperwork about it and stuff that's come out, is that we're on the way to having an internet license, much like the UK has a TV license.
Oh, I do remember hearing about this several years ago from the fucking jackwagon that was working under former President Trump, who carried around the giant coffee mug everywhere that he went. and they were pushing similar regulation at that time. Yeah, Jimmy, if you could pull that up, I'd love to see it because
I
I
mean,
actually have not seen any of that. Yeah, that
yeah.
Hawk is on point.
I will totally work on something to
That's
throw up for it.
yeah, peak clown world for sure.
100%, man. I mean, it. I mean, I guess when it's said and shown throughout history, but like, as something is as an empire is crashing, they try to regulate everything they can. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Controlling the flow of information and like even news. I mean, it goes back to even far before the 20th century, far before the advent of the printing press as we know it today. Like, stemming the flow of information and controlling who has access to specific resources is the ultimate instrument of power.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Apart from thermobaric warheads in the 21st century.
So here's a little bit of what is the thing that it's talking about or whatever. Is it popped up for you yet? And here we go. I got it right there.
I see.
All right. So this is the new FCC rules proposed for, internet providers and such like that. Just what they're claiming they're doing is trying to protect everyday individuals from the internet from, all kinds of just nonsense. Let's see here. Excuse me for a second. I'm still trying to work with this stuff a little bit because I'm a little new to playing with it. So
I'm actually pulling this article up to.
So today on October 19th, the Federal Communications Commissions, adopted a new proposed rulemaking about the open internet and net neutrality. And what it turned into today was a lot of what it turned into today was a lot of apparently Congress just pushing this on through and deciding that Biden can have all of this control of the internet. And I know Stephen and Bandit aren't in the room yet, but if they were here, they'd be like, Jimmy, it's not going to change the internet. And I understand that, but
we're back. Okay, so I'm reading the actual memo now. If you want to keep going, I could probably make sense of this, but this is more of the same from previous recommendations that were made back in, I feel like that was either 2017 or 2018. I can't be for sure of that, but there were proposed amendments under what they call Title II of the Communications Act, allegedly to protect internet openness. So I'm going to read through this for a moment. FCC finds legal support for reclassification. So let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit here. See if I can actually make sense of these legalese.
Bandit, I see you've joined us in here this evening. Can you make us a little bit of sound?
BIAS. Okay, so let me jump in here.
Oh, I heard him.
So with the notice of proposed rulemaking, FCC again proposes to reclassify broadband internet access services as a telecommunications service under Title II of the Communications Act. FCC finds bias has become essential to consumers for work, health, education, community, and everyday life, and the COVID-19 scamdemic has increased the importance of bias. The FCC explains that developments in the importance of the internet consumers demonstrates that consumers perceive and use broadband internet access as a standalone service that provides telecommunications effect on investment. FCC states in the 2018 conclusions that the internet investment is closely tied to the classification of broadband internet access services were unsubstantiated. Previous record demonstrated there were opposing views on the long-term effects of investment directly relating to the Connect America Fund, which is supposed to actually provide internet services to the most isolated households in the country that pretty much always rely on DSL or satellite. And no party can quantify with any reasonable degree of accuracy how classification would affect the future investment. So, FCC finds the open internet must be protected to ensure consumers can use their broadband internet access services connections in all the lawful ways they see fit, and reclassification as a telecommunications service would allow the FCC to rely on its authority in sections 201 and 202 of the Communications Act to address practices that are unjust, unreasonable, or unreasonably discriminatory. And that to me sounds like that's exactly the point I was looking for. So protecting internet openness while you're trying to Gestapo the internet is mutually exclusive.
Right.
So yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for in this statement. Okay, so thank you for bringing this to my attention. I've worked in telecommunications for a while, so having worked for
my only thing is that there has never been in all the years of communication, whether it be phone, whether it be internet, even letter writing, that I don't see anywhere else in history where there has been such sweeping regulations put over communication.
And it feels like we're dialing back to the days of really the opening days of the internet, back around 1990 when the internet first became publicly available. Back then, it was a smaller framework. It wasn't widely understood. A lot of people still thought you were just going to get pictures of cats and work out, find guys to meet up with to work out at gyms and other things like that. So obviously the scope of the internet has expanded, but
Absolutely.
as early as 1992, I believe it was, there was a proposal for a thing they intended to place onto the circuit board of PCs back then that would basically give local law enforcement or federal agencies a backdoor to access your system at any time. And it's basically a master key. There was a Caltech guy. He basically broke it, and he said, "This is a really bad idea, and this is why." But then he broke the thing, and the thing completely went away. And then let's think back about 10 years ago. This conversation started up again, and I'm thinking immediately of Apple right now because one of the shootings, one of the big shootings out in California.
Yeah,
the guy had an iPhone. Police couldn't get into it, and they went to Apple asking for a passcode. And it was such that I'm actually going to defend Apple here for once, that they made the right decision by pushing back that we will not give you a master key in the litigation that followed. They gave them access to the phone, but they would not give them this supposed thing that would give anyone access to a device if law enforcement requests it at any given time.
Oh, you mean like Liberty Safes?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, seriously. We could definitely make a comparison.
Hey, can we just? I want to say one thing with this. Everybody says internet, right? They think of this all-encompassing singular item, which it is not. When they say they're going to regulate the internet, that in and of itself is an impossibility. You know what I mean?
What they're really getting at, Bandit, in my view, and this is based purely on my own working experience and working with ISPs over the years, that I understand a little bit of what they're doing. They could frame it that they want to regulate the internet, but what they really want to regulate, which is not the internet itself, which is simply
you as an individual.
Yeah, they want to regulate the behaviors of the people who access the internet.
And that's
Yeah.
why I was saying that where I feel that it's going en route to like in the UK where you have to have a license to have a
Check
television.
this out.
Right.
Did you hear what that fascist Nikki Haley said?
Uh,
Did you hear what she said?
absolute embarrassment out of my state.
No,
What'd she say?
there will be no more fake profiles online. You will have to register your real name on your profile, and she framed it as so you
Well,
can stand next to what you say, and your name will be visible to your family, your employer, and she even went so far as to say your pastor of your church will be able to see exactly what you say online.
well, after a bunch of anonymous protesters
Oh, that was
attacked
6
her
hours. Okay,
3 hours ago, she's walking back on her demand
okay, that's awesome. Hey,
because the internet don't play that shit.
and see,
But now
think
I was saying like another thing with this, what I guess the thing that's also been being kind of covered up in the news that I think is super important that totally should be being talked about
mhm.
is old dude here that got sentenced to 7 months in prison for sharing a Hillary Clinton meme.
And so let's go ahead and make the comparison right now, because this is not out of the imagination. This is not grasping at straws. This is exactly the type of nefarious BS. Excuse me, I am trying to watch my language tonight. This is the type.
Don't delete us, YouTube.
This is the type of shenanigans that this proposal would bring, because when you're looking at someone getting sentenced to 7 months in prison over a meme, or someone making a meme that actually prompts the FBI to show up at your doorstep, which actually happened to a guy in a group that I was a member of that is no longer active on Facebook anymore because he made a very objectively funny meme. Was that the Metal Gear Solid soundboard?
Oh man, I had to get the soundboard fired back up, and I have got things from everywhere. You guys know me. I gotta keep it good.
So that really gets right to the root of it, doesn't it? That news article right there is what we're really looking at. It's not. It is to a lesser extent, I suppose. It is about that in some ways. Controlling what is on the internet is one thing. However, it is more about regulating the behaviors of the people on the internet. Like this guy who shared a meme and is now serving 7 months.
Our good buddy over there, Spike Cohen, does all these great things out there for folks out there that was on the show, last year and whatnot. He is very big about advocating that politicians, police stations, sheriff's departments, etc., can't block you.
Yes,
because that and so I mean, what I'm seeing with stuff like this is now they're going to be able to block comments. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to block you.
Controlling.
Oh, sure.
Controlling access to information, like I said at the start of when we started talking about this, is vital to making people behave as a product of their environment, and that is exactly what they want. Steering line of thought, obviously, or just kicking someone off the internet and saying, "Oh, you need an internet license for that." Sorry, I can't do a British accent. But
no worries.
But that's exactly what I think is coming of this, and it is that statement. I think this is the key in all of it. That is where it says allows the FCC to rely on its authority in sections 201 and 202 of the Communications Act of 1934 to address practices that are unjust, unreasonable, or unreasonably discriminatory. Now, again, FCC it's a governing body, but it's a regulatory agency. The FCC has a lot of power. So, who is deciding what is unjust, unreasonable, or unreasonably discriminatory?
Well, if it's been the same folks that have been trying to decide that for my entire lifetime, well, I'm just gonna have to go out on a limb here and say that it's gonna be even more of a clown show than it already is.
Yeah, and it certainly is heading in the direction, in my view, that this is to control the end user
So-
base. And I have a couple other.
You mean kind of like Chinese communist propaganda? Speaking of which,
Oh yeah, social credit score. Yeah, there we go.
Xi
that's right.
Jinping was in California today.
Wasn't he coming to Portland too?
No, he was just in California today, visiting with Biden in Woodbine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
so, well, I mean, I got a question. While they're doing all that visiting, didn't they flat out admit last week that that our good old buddy Kim Jong apparently has nuclear weapons already?
10 of them.
Like, I mean,
So, hey, I want to add
Interesting.
something. I want to add something to what I just said about Xi coming into California. You should see how they cleaned up San Francisco
Winnie the Pooh.
for a
Winnie the
visiting communist dictator that they can't do normally. They did it for a communist dictator. They got rid of the homeless. They got rid of the graffiti. They got rid of the drugs in the street. They cleaned it. They cleaned up San Francisco.
They did. I've actually seen some pictures from the streets that were showing that, like,
Yeah, but on a normal day,
yeah.
they won't do it.
That is objectively funny that that's what it took for a average California city to actually get cleaned up.
Oh, you
Winnie the
can
Pooh
guarantee
visiting?
there's shit.
Is he
all
not?
over- there's
Is he
shit
not
all over
usually
the
running
street.
around Disney World? I'm confused. Oh wait, that's Disneyland, isn't it?
As soon as he got on that plane to leave San Francisco, I guarantee there are shit and
No
needles all over the street.
Where do you think? Where do you think they put all the homeless people while he was there?
They probably
They
threw him
buried
in.
them up
They
and
probably
pushed
just
them
threw
out
him
of
in the
town.
holding cell.
No, I
Oh,
think they
just
pushed him out of
taking it.
town.
What's that?
Just pushed them out of town.
They probably sent them to Portland.
Yeah, you know, as somebody who lives way out in the sticks, like, I mean, when I go to work, I'm in a rural town when I'm in work, and it's got over 30,000 people. It's
Yeah.
a decent sized town,
Same
but
here.
like the homeless population in that small rural town has also greatly expanded.
It has.
You know, and
So,
I'm curious if it's doing that in other small towns
Everywhere.
Yeah.
This is nationwide. You can't hide from this anymore.
so here's the thing. So the Connect America Fund as a program to get more rural communities connected to the internet has been an ongoing effort for the last 24 years, 23 years. What year was Bush elected? 2001?
No, 2000. I think,
2000.
I think it was 2000.
Yeah, I can't even.
Yeah, because he was there for a year before.
9/11. I think it was he
Yeah.
was there from 2000 to 2008, and then Obama took over in 2000
Before the space lasers took down the Twin Towers.
I can't. It's gotten to the point where even I can't remember. Like,
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, so at the turn of the century, there was a big push to get high-speed internet service across the country. Like,
Yes.
even by 2000, we were already lagging behind the rest of the world in terms of connectivity, and we still do even today. So I couldn't tell you, because I don't even remember, to be honest, how many internet consumers we have in this country as of right now.
but you'll never connect everybody.
You won't connect everyone.
No,
but
There are hundreds.
we have a
of
county
thousands of people that don't want to be connected.
they don't want to be connected.
we
But
Neptune, me and you have a county in between us.
yes,
out 16 somewhere.
Yep.
It's considered one of the state's poorest counties there is, and there actually is no.
yeah,
even
they don't,
dial-up
and they
internet
don't
out
have
there.
service out there. But so
We have
all
the
right, so
poorest county in the nation.
all right, so but
You know?
let's
Poor county.
let's
Yeah.
wind the clock back, because this is why this is important, and this is why it is, I think, now coming to an age where they want to be able to regulate. So they probably didn't foresee that this objective of the Connect America Fund, as it's called, or CAF project funding, was
going to create crazy people like me.
would lead to where we are right now, which is the divergent split of and division of people that interact on through the internet on a daily basis. But the U.S. government has essentially, to competing local exchange carriers, provided money both to CLECs and to the ILEC providers, or incumbent local exchange carrier, the person who actually owns the lines and does not lease them to other carriers to provide service in those areas. What would happen is all the provider has to do is submit a request to it was a budget office that was set up specifically to address these. I don't know where they actually go. They request a certain allotment of funds, and it comes back as a grant. So that money does not have to be paid back to the U.S. government. It is purely a grant, but a contention of actually putting those services in place is that they actually have to show progress. And for many years, the common challenge, and if anyone happens to see this that has worked in telecommunications, is probably going to agree that it is extremely cost prohibitive to put in new infrastructure. But the ultimate goal of CAF was to get what they call a 5/9 sort of connectivity, have basically 99.999% of households in the U.S. connected. So you still have outliers, you still have people who don't want to be connected, so you'll never connect everyone. But the plan for CAF has always been leading to that. And as connectivity has come up, and I don't think it's a coincidence now, especially with the advent of Starlink trying to take the lead in terms of satellite broadband, trying to close the gap, because there are very poor internet service providers out there. Like you got, and I'm of the opinion.
We have one out here in my area that tries to thankfully we have Spectrum, but there's another one in this area called AirFi.
There's AirFi.
Oh my god.
There is AirFi, there is Viasat, and there's several others that they provide satellite services. Yeah. And that is not reliable, and they charge a ton of money for it. So it always has it has both its pros and cons to try to get everyone connected. But really what I'm getting at with this is, now that the majority of the country is connected, I think we're now under 10% people who are not connected to the internet at all, is massive in scope to even consider the logistics of that. So if the FCC were to get disapproval of a reclassification of broadband internet access service, and they do expand, we should expect to see a correspondingly higher number of people working through some contracted government agency, working on behalf of the FCC, working as those official, quote unquote, thought police.
Well,
I had a long way to go around to get to that, but that's what I was.
No.
That was the end of that thought.
And I'm not even. I get what you're saying there, but I do want to just kind of jump things off kind of crazy here for a moment, just because that's just me and just jump subjects. But are you guys familiar with the band Trapped?
They had like one. They had like one or two.
Yeah, they were honestly a one-hit wonder, like straight up. Okay, well, for about 3 years now, the internet has been doing a good job of trolling them, because the one made some pretty diddler type comments back in the day. In fact, the exact comment that set everybody off is the lead singer of Trapped said a 15-year-old female and a 25-year-old male is not the P word, you effing moron. And ever since then, people have been dragging these dudes all over the internet, because yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, as a couple days ago, earlier this week, this is where it gets good. Some hackers did some good stuff and got into their Facebook page and have now made their Facebook page titled Happy Shopping. And
It's only going to be like that for another few days before they
Six-
get that great
60,
get it back.
60 days. It is stuck for 60 days. And
I thought it
Facebook,
was 7 days.
it is 60 days if you change your
Oh,
name.
well,
And Facebook refuses to do anything for them. And so they've been on there continuing to be like, you know, hey, trolls, you're not going to stop us and our new album. And if you have time to go over to Facebook and flip through their comment section, it's great because everybody is just booing, calling them
even
diddlers,
Facebook hates you, Trap.
calling them diddlers, calling them, you know, idiots and stuff like that. And it's just, it's one of these great things where it's just been going for so long. And I love the support that's happening to it because again, who were they? Like a one-hit wonder? Like let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't really want to talk about the internet too much more, but this is a thought. And Jimmy, Bandit, I know you both have seen this post because I reshare it every year. Some time ago, I think it was the Air Force or a defense contractor. I forget what, but there was an FTP file transfer server that had been connected to with unauthorized access, and they, as it turns out, they had left the password for that default. It was admin. That is the default password for almost any network peripheral you're ever going to find. If it's not admin, it's password. And I made a comment a while ago that if I swear on all that is holy, if you don't change your passwords, I will push Blue Waffle to every client connected to it. Change your passwords, for God's sake. And use two-factor authentication. That's what it's there for.
I do the two-factor authentication. Sometimes it's aggravating because like with this computer, when I went to sign everything in new, I have multiple internet browsers on this computer.
Yeah, I saw that.
And when I'm doing show-related stuff, I tend to use just the Bing or whatever, just because it's available. But when I'm doing other stuff, I'm usually on Brave. And even though it's the same computer, I had to get the Google permission login to match up with my phone or whatever before I could even continue to keep logging in to things. Yeah. And Google has made it fairly convenient for me to log into things with my, you know, my professional account that I do all of this stuff with and whatnot. And where everything else, I'll be real. I've used the two same passwords for years, but you would never, ever figure them out because they're just not a thing of my everyday life that you would put two and two together. And
well, it's okay though, as long as those passwords are a decent combination of characters, numbers,
and letters. Yeah.
And lowercase letters.
Yep.
The amount of time it would take somebody to brute force those passwords is like hundreds of thousands of years.
So much
you know
tries.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's never infallible. Obviously, there are some nerds out there, some absolute dweebs, because, well, hell, yeah, definitely dweebs, because I'm a nerd, who have nothing better to do with their time than try to brute force certain applications.
So wait a minute, is a dweeb above a nerd, or is a nerd above a dweeb?
I think a dweeb is below a nerd.
Nerds can hate on nerds. Like, I don't know a nerd that isn't like, fucking nerd. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, but we know at least a couple people like that, right? So, but,
I think we all do.
Yeah.
At least one or two.
Everybody knows at least one. But yeah, and it's never infallible. But yeah, but the real thing is that's just utterly predictable. And like, I don't want to talk too much more about this, but
no.
You know, if you're if you're on the internet now, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to close out this thought. If this FCC regulation thing goes through and we turn into basically a copycat of the UK, where you have to get internet licenses and your internet traffic is basically beholden to the FCC, not unlike, let's say, for example, you go on a website and you accept cookies in your browser. You've already given a website access to your data, and in some cases, your service provider, sometimes they may cooperate with the authorities. And that's another thing that has existed since even the early days of the internet is passive cooperation between law enforcement and
They've got your info already, man.
Yeah.
What else are they going to get from you?
Yeah,
They've got your info.
Oh yeah,
but,
no,
but straight up freewheeling, giving one of the most powerful agencies in the U.S. that much leeway to openly decide what you can or can't post. Like,
Speaking
yeah.
of I recall something in a conversation with you the other day about the ATF.
Yeah. The ATF's got a lot of power too. A lot of that I absolutely don't think that they need, but yeah, I have a few thoughts about that in a minute for sure. Yeah, there's way too many governing agencies that have way too much power, man.
Way too much. It's ridiculous
too
at this
much.
point. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
We set a
When
bad precedent with where this is going, though, and I
when-
had no idea until you just brought this up.
When I was a kid, I remember thinking and sitting and learning in class and stuff about stuff, and hearing the things that they were talking about, and then like pertaining it back to real life and being like, wait a minute, like what? Why is this stuff already going on in America if we're supposed to be, such a free country? It's and then of course as I grew older, I seen more things, and I've seen a meme before that covers it real well. When you're a kid, you're kind of scared of cops. You don't know what to think about them. But when you start to become a young adult, you're like, oh, they're not that bad. But then when you become an adult, you're like, yeah, no, a cab all day. Like it's nuts. It is. But I will agree that there are too many regulatory groups. Like, and people will tell you, oh, well, regulation's necessary because you could eat a bad steak or something and get sick. And it's just like, no, regulation. A true free market would regulate itself. A true free market, something we don't have.
Agreed.
You be quiet there, Bandit. What you got for me, buddy?
Oh, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm here.
I'm just making sure, man. Have you got anything good you want to bring to the table this week at our first brand new live of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast?
You mentioning that the regulatory committees or it brings to mind the recall that those applesauce pouches for kids just had because 2 or 3 dozen kids got sick from eating them, and then people want to complain, hey, we got to have this agency to regulate this, we got to have this agency to regulate this, and you still have instances like this where shit goes wrong.
Absolutely.
It does not matter what type of oversight you have.
Absolutely.
It does not matter.
It's always retroactive.
And the worst thing they constantly say is it's for your safety. We have to do this for your safety. That is the words spoken by every tyrant that has ever come to power. We're doing this for your safety.
That's what I feel about it when they tell me it's for my safety.
Right?
You need to put that Ronald Reagan
regulate
soundbite on your soundboard that says, I'm from the government.
We're going to regulate the internet for your safety.
Right.
No, you're not. You're going to regulate for control.
It's all regulation has ever been about. It just seems to all be about control. I think.
Let's be real with it. Let's be real with this. All right. I don't think this is going to last very long because look at what happened with the TikTok ban.
Yeah, what did that last? 2 weeks?
Seriously, that lasted a few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to have the long-lasting effect if they even try it. I mean, they tried that. How long did that the Ministry of Truth last? That Harris tried the Ministry of Truth, where they were going to regulate misinformation and disinformation online. How long did that last? That became that's a parody account on Twitter now.
It is. It's so good
Minis-
too.
That didn't
Ministry
last
of
very
Truth
long.
sounds like a diet or early 90s WWF wrestling stable.
Right? That's not going to last very long. And coupled with the fact that people people can't even live paycheck to paycheck right now. People, a vast majority of the country is struggling right now that
real.
to even pay their bills, and they come out with this like we're going to regulate you on the internet now. What this sounds like is, hey, Big Brother's going to step in and squash the complaints people are voicing about how bad the country is right now.
That's all. That's all
Yeah.
that is.
This
Because of the-
this
Because
And
of that
thought
one thing
really-
you and I have always said, Bandit, that double-edged sword, and you kind of made reference to it a little earlier, Neptune, about how
I say that constantly.
sure they're doing all the spying on us, sure they've got all of our data and all of our information, but there's people like you and me and Neptune who just continue to be online saying the same stuff. Like you got to be smarter about it. I think you said this the other night in conversation, and I learned it as far as Facebook profiles. It took me 21 profiles to figure it out, but like you can't just use direct words, direct language, the trigger
You can
trigger
say-
words.
You can say whatever you want. Really, you can.
just gotta make it
get
up.
away with saying whatever you want. It's just how you say it.
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
But
How you
seriously,
work,
though.
how you write it, even actually to the point of how you write it. I don't, you guys are in a group chat with me, so you see this on a regular basis. You know for a fact that I spell things wrong to begin with because I'm just a moron and can't really spell that well. But like, there's also things that I intentionally spell wrong, and I don't know if it's just the rollover of me trying to be funny or if it's just the like we're saying here, like you got to be able to say things, but you've got to find a way to say them in a way that people are ready to accept them. Like for years now, the funniest thing that people still react to when they see it to this day is when I get on one of my rants and call someone a walnut, and they're just like, "Where did that even come from?" And I'm like, I really don't know. I mean, it's just like kid nonsense, but it works. Like, because I can call somebody a walnut on Facebook all day long and not get banned, where if I call them an asshole, I'll probably get banned. You know what I mean? Like it weighs itself out. And that's why I risked us being over here on YouTube. Hey folks out there on YouTube, I see you. I want to break in for a moment and say hey and thank you and such, but like, and you over there on Kick on our brand new channel. But like we've got to be able to spread the message regardless of the channel that it is. And instead of censoring ourselves, we just have to just make it funny, make it retarded. Like, ooh, you know what I'm saying?
I really don't think this is going to come to fruition like everybody thinks it's going to. I really don't see this having any long-lasting effect.
So what's the distraction?
That's exactly it, though. But I don't think it's necessarily a distraction. I think people are blowing this out of proportion than what it actually is.
Fair.
They have. I mean, it's not like we haven't been here
That's
before.
right, the Zodiac.
They've attempted this like this. I mean,
Numerous times,
time and again. Trying to further regulate the internet is basically just been one of those things, and I feel like in this age that we're in right now, at least as far as the past couple years are concerned, is that while nothing I don't think is going to change fundamentally, at least in as far as FCC regulation is concerned, it'll probably wind up under the bridge again. We're all still going to have, for those of us who think differently, we're still going to have an FBI guy in our phones just listening and watching our conversations and trying
Hey,
not
buddy,
to have
I know you're watching.
trying not to have a stroke in the process.
And something else I want to bring up is don't forget it's next year is the selection year.
Oh God, it's
I
gonna
forgot.
be it's gonna be clown news after clown news after clown
Think about
news.
that, too.
The memes
When
are
you
going to make
see-
it totally worth it, though.
When you see this nonsense come up with any type of new radical regulation, bill proposal, funding, program, stuff like that, and if it has the word government in front of it, it's next year is the selection year, so they have to try to pander to votes right now.
I mean, yeah. They're.
I wouldn't say
I
votes,
actually,
because votes don't matter. Votes don't matter. They have to pander to the sheep.
I was in a customer's house today actually, and heard on her television a Biden for president 2024 thing or whatever, and it was a girl talking about how Biden's regulations are making her insulin for her son cheaper and saving their lives while she's feeding him like chicken nuggets and shit, and it's just like.
Mhm.
It's just like, bro, like, first of all, why does your child have that stage of diabetes already? And then second of all, why are you demanding more government regulation within the medical industry? Look at the shit show it already is. I've never understood that. Like, this is one of those things. This is one of those stands I'll take. I have never understood, and I wish Luis was here to defend himself, the constant call for wanting the universal health care. Like, our VA doctors and our regular doctors aren't. I mean, the medical industry is the third leading killer in the world, like in the United States.
I thought it was number one. I thought medical malpractice was one of.
It's in the top three because number one I think still totally is cardiac arrest. Like a lot of us men just eventually get tired of this shit and our stuff just ticks out.
No. We internalize everything.
We do. Well, hell, my grandfather had one of my grandfathers died when I was a kid. He had a heart attack in his sleep. That was it. But my other grandfather, he had like 4 heart attacks in my lifetime, and he actually, when he actually died sitting in his house as a sour, stubborn old man, and his little the little computer, or what's that thing they put in your heart? You know what I'm talking about?
Pacemaker.
A pacemaker. It had quit working, and instead of going to the doctor to get it fixed, he just figured he'd sit there until it quit working all the way. Because he didn't. Listen, he gave me some of the greatest memories of my life and was probably the number one dude in my life most of my lifetime. But like, he was a sour ass old man. Like, he didn't want to do nothing with nobody after he retired. He was either at home with the gate locked or on a pond somewhere in his boat all by himself because he just did not want to be around anybody. It's not the fate I want. You know what I'm saying? But good Lord. But enough about that nonsense. I would actually.
So, in some lighter news, I think they're finally done screwing up Marvel movies after this most recent flop with Marvels.
Okay,
and I
Loki
also think
season
that-
2 was pretty awesome.
I'm talking about movies.
I know, but I'm saying
Soundtracks.
as
talking
far
about
as like
movies.
something coming back to make a difference in the Marvel, because Marvel
Okay, 'cause
Marvel
I'm
fell
telling
off.
you, Deadpool 3
Is a
better be a hit.
you need to watch Loki season 2 because as it's going, that's
Okay.
that's going to be a direct walk into the Deadpool movie.
And can we for a minute talk about this nonsense that is Modern Warfare 3?
After I hate on the actor strike,
Has anybody seen that?
now that the actor strike's over and we're back, I do want to make a couple comments on it real quick before you go there. Like, all you guys already make way more money than I could ever dream of, and you want to bitch because you can't make more money?
Well, no, hey, that's not necessarily what it was. Okay, let me stick up for a second. And go back to something from our childhood that has recently been brought to light with this strike.
Oh, you mean like the
So-
Power Rangers? How Zordon was paid $25 for his one-time appearance?
Dude, that was the exact example I was going to use.
Yep, I know.
I
Never, I understand.
And used him through the entire series and never paid him what he was supposed to be paid.
Why did he sign
That was the
why
exact
did he sign the
example I was
contract?
supposed to.
Why did he sign the contract
Dude.
without reading it?
I think it had something to do with the way it was worded. Because that is some shady stuff, man.
It is, but it's Hollywood. Do you expect anything less?
No, not really. Not really.
Like I guess I
Well,
feel for
hey,
people like
it
that.
goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand with the video game world now. Look what they did with Modern Warfare 3.
Oh my god!
$70 for that game.
And it's not even a full game.
The campaign can be played through in 3 hours.
Really?
And all of the multiplayer, all of the online maps for that game are just rehash of Warzone maps.
How about new?
It could have been a DLC,
It really,
but $70.
it really could have
$70.
been a. It really could have been a DLC, and so like, I don't hate the gameplay in and of itself. The gameplay itself, to me, is fine. It plays like any other Call of Duty. Now,
Did you play it? Did you buy it?
I had bought it because I had enjoyed it, but I did not realize until I actually played the story how bad it actually was.
3 hours, man.
So, okay, so I have a few thoughts about that. I did not finish the campaign in 3 hours for 2 reasons. One, I wasn't interested in the speed run. Let me move forward. I think the TV is right behind me. It keeps screwing with the video. So, 2 things. So, one, yes, you could speed run it in 3 hours, but I don't think it's entirely true. And let me explain why. There's a lot of things that Sledgehammer did right, but there were also a lot of things that Sledgehammer did wrong. At least as far as the story goes. I'll get to the multiplayer and MWZ in a moment. As far as the story itself goes, the plot points themselves are okay, but it was told in a very disorganized manner, almost to the point that it didn't flow, I guess is the right way. There are some missions that could have been reoriented to make the game make more sense. The production team failed on that front, in my opinion. Now, as far as the length of the game itself is concerned, yeah, it still could be longer. They could throw another 2 or 3 hours of gameplay into that. They could have
Oh, they
added
will.
more missions
into
the story
DLC
itself.
you gotta pay for.
Yeah, for real. But in and as far as the story itself is concerned, Sledgehammer did a couple things right though, and so they tried to bring back some of the elements that they have used in their previous titles, and also tried to incorporate a few elements from Warzone into the story with this open combat missions thing, which it gives you additional side objectives and things to actually get and acquire. Ultimately, my first playthrough run was on the lowest difficulty with the intention of collecting all those items so that I could go back and run those missions on veteran, because I'm a campaign completionist in Call of Duty. I have completed every Call of Duty campaign on veteran difficulty, and that isn't even a lie. I've got 7 or 8 Call of Duty titles on Xbox 360 that are all 100% completed. Because back then, all of the actual achievements of the game themselves were all tailored to the story mode, and then multiplayer was its own reward by itself. Now, these days, you get like a hodgepodge of achievements. I like the old model because it gave a reward to play the story and actually enjoy it, and then go off, play multiplayer, and have fun. That's the way I see it. Now, that being said, Bandit's got a point that all of the launch maps, and this was not my impression when I pre-ordered. Otherwise, I probably would have canceled that pre-order. But at launch, the only maps for multiplayer are A couple from Warzone, and everything else is either a remastered MW2 or COD 4 map from 2009 and 2007. Literally nothing else. That's all we got. And the only saving grace they have to that, allegedly, unless they walk this back too, because Activision is not one known for their wise business decisions. Let me say that first off, is apparently all the additional maps are going to be free, supposedly. But
Damn.
jury's still out on that, so I'm not holding my breath. Now, as far as MWZ goes, you have to have played Cold War Zombies to enjoy it. And by the way, Cold War was absolutely fucking incredible, and that is probably from Treyarch. It's competing with Black Ops 2 of being my favorite in the entire series. But Cold War Zombies, you had to have played it to be able to play MWZ and make sense of it. There are a lot of people that don't play Treyarch games out there that are probably trying zombies and will be trying zombies for the first time, and they're going to probably be struggling.
It could be worse. I mean, it could be Advanced Warfare.
Dude, that is to this day, that is my least favorite in the entire series. I liked Ghosts, and I liked playing Extinction more than I liked Advanced.
But think about this though. Did you see the recent news about Grand Theft Auto 6? They're releasing a trailer next month, and based on all the other previous like Grand Theft Autos, it'll be like 2025 for the game release.
Really?
You know,
it has got. I mean, the game releases have gotten so bad. I'm actually looking forward to a Grand Theft Auto game.
You know, Rockstar never.
That's bad, right?
Rockstar never disappoints, though, and the thing that I can give Rockstar credit for is they do character development, they do storytelling.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, everything from the written story itself to the character development, the acting, the voice acting, and the gameplay. It's just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's always good. Now,
then they said the next Skyrim is going to be Xbox only.
Ooh,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm not an X. I've never actually been. I had an original Xbox, but I didn't.
Oh, so did I.
Okay, but for $1 right now, and then it's $10 a month if I choose to continue to do it. Xbox has this cloud gaming thing going on, and I'm able to play just about a lot of Xbox games from my computer.
And that your PC will handle most of those.
And then my son got me playing Fortnite, and
go play Starfield.
And Starfield's on there. I looked at it, and I heard Neptune talking about it the other night, and I was like, but
I've heard it is fabulous.
I want to play Fallen Order because I've never actually played it.
So
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I really, it's not my style of game, but one of my good friends has been playing the crap out of it and sharing a bunch of stuff about it. That Alan Wake 2.
There are,
and it's on there too.
As far as video games themselves are concerned, I do have a soft spot in my heart for two specific things, and that is Space Journey and Space Opera. Mass Effect, as I have never shut up about in all the time that you guys have known me, is my favorite video game series of all time. Nice. And before Starfield, I was a big fan of Elite Dangerous. I played it.
I got questions. I've been told Starfield is just Elder Scrolls for.
It's based.
It is.
It's Elder Scrolls in space. It really is.
Okay.
It's Skyrim. It's Skyrim in space.
Okay. Like,
did you ever play Outer Worlds?
No. I never played it. No.
That was probably like
really
one of the best in between. Mass Effect and Starfield, because you can't really count No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. That still to this day, that really hurt my feelings.
I really like the part. I really like the part in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 when you have to go to the space death egg and fight and fight Dr. Eggman up there in space.
He's,
Somebody just
Zodiac,
had to
I
bring up
absolutely
Halo.
love all the Halo games. I haven't been on Xbox for a number of years, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping to actually get back over there and actually give it a try
Those
because as long as the
those Halo
multiplayer holds
games,
up,
those Halo games are available on that Xbox Pass too. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna check it out. If it becomes worth my $10 a month, I might keep it.
So-
If not, like I'll just do.
So-
I have never played a Halo game only because I've always been.
I remember
was
Halo 2.
so
always a hardcore, dedicated PlayStation
Yeah.
like
so
mindset.
I was never a good
been-
shooter game.
I've never been partial either way. So I've had an Xbox, an Xbox One.
I just had the first Xbox.
I've had PlayStation, of course.
I've had all the
um,
PlayStations except the
but-
5.
When for many years, the biggest thing that I like to play, and this is even before I really got big into Call of Duty back around 2007, Modern Warfare, COD 4. I was big on Gears of War for a number of years, and that was really where my heart really was. And it's just I loved everything about Gears of War, and then I started playing Halo around 2007. I never had the OG Xbox. I had a 360, then I had an Xbox One. So I never got to play the first two until the Master Chief Collection, and I absolutely loved them. But then, Gears of War, Halo, Mass Effect, three of the biggest hitters on the Xbox side for a very long time, and I have to say I'm very excited about the forthcoming release of the new Mass Effect, which hopefully will make Andromeda just quietly vanish into the nether
I'm
realm.
sorry, what?
Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda.
No. Before you mentioned Andromeda.
There's a new one that's in development.
Oh, so to be out in 5 years?
Did you hear they're finally bringing a GTA 6 to us? Like officially?
Yes.
After milking it for 3 platforms.
So
Next month is the trailer.
Here's my hope, both for GTA and for Mass Effect, because it would be a great year for gamers in 24 if we got one, maybe both. I'm being optimistic here. I don't count on that, but it's been, as of this year, it will be 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 5. And then GTA 5 got 3 upscaled renditions since then and a re-release, a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously now with the GTA collection having come out recently, and San Andreas got remastered, and then a few others. I know when this new one's supposed to be set in Miami, right?
Yes, and I think the only game that paralleled Grand Theft Auto 5 through 3 game systems was The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
Man,
for real.
and let me tell you, that is a game right there, man.
yeah.
But yeah, Mass Effect is getting a new one too, and it's supposedly already been in development since they rehired Casey Hudson as his name. He was the guy behind the first 3. They brought him back in to actually oversee production. So supposedly things are on the right track because Andromeda flopped.
Hopefully it'll make me forget about Andromeda.
Yeah, same. Very much so. I was not a fan of Andromeda. I played about 4 hours of it, and I was like,
I played it all the way through.
Did you?
I was bored.
Man.
I was bored.
I salute you for your commitment.
I played. I did. Let's see. I'm trying to think of games that I know that I've did to 100% completion. I know it was all 3 of the Arkham games, and the 4th one, the Arkham Origins, and then I did full completion on the Spider-Man game.
There is a game that I still play to this day that I was playing before I jumped on here with you guys tonight, and we'll be jumping back on here in a little bit when we wrap up.
Yeah.
Is Borderlands 2.
Okay.
That is a game I have been playing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And there is, I swear to God, there is no way to 100% completion that game. I have not met one
What's-
person that has 100% completion, and I've got over 1,000 hours into that game.
On what game?
Borderlands 2.
Oh, God, that game is a nightmare.
I love
Can't.
I-
No,
I love it.
I wouldn't be able to do 100% completion.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a replayable game, very much so, but it's an acquired taste, that's for sure. And it's completely unhinged. So that's one of the other reasons I love it so much.
I could do better gaming, I guess, than I do. I was never really any good at racing games. I did play like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII, back in the day, stuff like that.
Dude,
all the
Final Fantasy
Marios, that was my thing back then. The Sonics and stuff like that. Like, there's actually 2 emulators I'm looking for the boy because I actually can't find the game, which is the Sonic Heroes and the Shadow of the Hedgehog games from PlayStation 2. Because my boy is big into Sonic the Hedgehog, and like that, those are 2 games I'm like, dude, you need to play those. Those were 2 of my favorites because I had a PS2 and a regular Xbox at one point in time too, and like it. There's something about some of these nostalgia games. Like, me and him get on here and play emulators on the computer all the time, but he was getting into other games that I wasn't really into, and his little neighbor buddy was telling him about Fortnite. So I was like, sure, you can download Fortnite. And of course it turned into me ended up playing Fortnite too. And like, when the Fortnite that exists today is definitely not the Fortnite that originally came out. Like, sure, there's still like the dancing and stuff like that, but there's like no builds, and there's like actual decent guns. The graphics are ridiculous. Like, when you're driving down, it's almost like you're driving around in GTA world. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so on point and stuff like that. And it's not a terrible game, and it's free to play. Like, you don't have to buy the battle pass. Like, that's just getting you to try to spend money. And it's I don't know. I have fun with the boy, and I encourage. I've played with Luis. I've played with our other co-host there, Jesse, a couple times. I've tried to get Steven to play with me, and I've totally asked you to come on there with me a couple times, Bandit. I know you're learning, but like,
Yeah. I've got it sitting on my home screen. I've got it downloaded.
Nice. I started playing on the PC because I wanted to be able to play with both my kids, and when they're both sitting on the PlayStation playing, I can jump over here on the PC to play. And when I went from playing on the PS4 to the PC, I haven't played a game on the PS4 in months now because it's just not the same. Yes, it's super cross-platform.
The good thing about Fortnite is Fortnite's cross-platform.
Yeah.
Like
I play PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. I play people from all over.
So yeah, Fortnite.
My oldest son has an Xbox. And
by the way, if you want to add me, I'm Walnut Butcher. Is my Epic Games game tag for Fortnite.
All right.
My fiance got me into playing Fortnite recently, and with 0 build, I can get along all right. But yeah, she plays on PC, and I play on PS5.
Yeah, dude. But when I moved up to the PC from playing on the PS4, like, the PS4 is great. Don't get me wrong, PS4 is an amazing system. The PS3 is probably my favorite system of all time because it was a computer and I could do what I wanted on it, and the PS4 regulated that control away from me. But over here on the PC, ever since I moved over here to the PC, that's why I started looking for different games to find to play online, because I'm like, hey man, this is kind of cool playing on my computer. And I get to use my rusty trusty The Last of Us PS4 controller while I'm playing games on an Xbox through a PC. Somewhere a gamer nerd just had an aneurysm because he knows that I'm doing that now. I mean, right? Totally worth it. Totally worth it. But games, I'm upset with games today, just in general, because not just the one you're talking about that started this conversation, the Call of Duty, but it's been a common trend over the past, especially 5 years, that you give me a partial game and then give me the rest of it 3 months down the road.
In DLC.
That has just, I don't want to blame Elder Scrolls.
Microtransactions.
I don't want to.
Microtransactions.
I don't want to throw poor Elder Scrolls under the bus. I don't want to throw Bethesda under the bus, but I have to.
Rockstar.
Because no, it didn't start with them.
They do it
and
too, though.
No,
They do.
they
Everybody
do,
does it
but
now.
not to the extent.
Right.
EA.
The very moment this began, and some fly on the wall somewhere said one day this is going to get out of control. When they decided to put armor for your horse inside of Morrowind back in 2005. You could buy it for like $4.99 or something. And then ever since then, it's just been creeping up a little bit at a time. I've noticed it the most with Call of Duty games, though. And it really, from my view, I think Call of Duty's entry into that started around 2012 with Black Ops. Because prior to that, you didn't have microtransactions. Now, you did have the map packs, which you could buy separately. That was kind of an afterthought. But then came the little accessory items. Buy these camos, buy these call signs, and then in ghosts,
Buy these weapon skins.
buy weapon skins, buy outfits for your loadouts for your operators. And every game's got their own flavor of it now. And now Fortnite is free to play, and they've made billions.
Yep.
They are still the most bankable and most profitable video game in the world. Tim Sweeney is going to be sitting on an island in 20 years, sipping $25 Mai Tais, laughing, looking back on his success at Epic Games. It is that absurd how Fortnite has just exploded in the last 7-8 years. So microtransactions.
And I mean, it's not a terrible game. I have a good time with the boy. My work partner plays it, so I end up playing with him a lot too. It's different. There's a few differences in it, but it's totally cool that I get to run around and be Spider-Man because I totally spent the $3 online to buy a Spider-Man costume, and I get to run around Fortnite dressed like Spider-Man shooting people.
That's funny. That is
right?
objectively funny.
That is objectively funny. Like, and I the cool thing is that if you do it right and you're not okay, I have two older kids that play the game, of course. One's 10, one's 8. The 8-year-old knows not to spend his V-Bucks that he earns from the battle pass that I bought him one time for the $8. Because you earn enough V-Bucks to continue to buy that battle pass every single time, as long as you don't spend them. Where the oldest child decided to blow all of them on more emotes and skins and stuff like that. And so now she has no coins and she has no battle pass. She's mad. And I'm just like, no. It's just a parenting thing, I guess. Off subject. It's just funny to see how a lot of these different things work. Like there's a game that hasn't changed for years, and you guys are definitely gonna laugh at me. You probably haven't even ever heard of it. It was sorry, it was called Goat Simulator. And it's still $1.99 to this day.
I remember that game.
You can still buy it.
Yep.
And there's even Spider-Man skins in it now.
I have a friend. He is absolutely in love with Euro Truck Simulator, like to a disturbing degree. He's big into.
I downloaded Farming Simulator for free on PlayStation.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I thought I would have had enough of that growing up in the cornfields in northern Illinois.
Man.
I thought I'd had enough of that, but obviously not. But I decided to put that all to rest. I mean, it took me all of about 5 minutes because microtransactions. You have to buy everything. You get the game for free, but you have to buy everything. So I deleted it and decided to go back and play Skyrim some more.
I own Red Dead Redemption 2 and have yet to play it.
I think when you play that game all the way through and like fully explore everything that game has to offer, that will make you judge other games so much more harshly because of the level of detail and story that they put into that game is just
I'm looking
mind-blowing.
forward to going and finding the feminist protester and dragging her by horseback to
And throwing her to a crocodile,
and throwing her to a crocodile. I intend on doing
like
that.
Joe Rogan said.
Like yes, just
Didn't
like-
Joe Rogan said that?
he said
Yeah.
that somebody did that and they got a bunch of flack. So give me all the flack you want. I'm doing it.
That was the level of detail that they put into that game. It really is. It is absolutely. You will judge games after that.
Good.
You really will, harshly.
All right. I mean, I remember the first Red Dead. I played that through and through. Zombies, everything. Like that game was awesome.
But no, seriously though, after I completed that game for the first time, like I've completed that game a few times. After the first time, I was just so like, well, there's nothing else that the video game world can offer me that will compare to that on any level whatsoever.
Nice. Well, hey, since we're talking a little bit of pop culture tonight, we've been talking about some video games. You know, and we got a little bit into the like actors and stuff like that. There's, TV and movies have been kind of crummy for the past a while because all they want to do is remakes. But there is some good stuff hitting the market that even me, who doesn't really watch TV, is actually taking the time to sit down and watch. Of course, new season of Rick and Morty. I'm digging the replacements because they sound just like them, so no worries there. The Loki season 2, I totally recommend. Like, it's one of the better Marvel things that have actually come out recently. It's actually kind of captivating. I'm excited because Invincible is returned for a season 2. I don't know if you're familiar with Invincible, but it's over there on Amazon Prime. I totally recommend it. It is an extremely violent comic book, and it's an animated show, so it's just as violent as it could possibly be. Definitely worth a watch. And I mean, other than that, I've watched a couple good previews, so I'm in hopes for some upcoming movies. The new Ghostbusters trailer just dropped, and that looks promising. It even has all the old guys back in it too as well. Believe it or not, Chris Pratt is going to be Garfield, and that actually sounds promising too. The little preview I seen from that was absolutely adorable. And I mean, I have hope that maybe now that they've settled their writer's strike, we can get some good something. I'm so tired of remakes and nonsense, and I know you agree with me, Bandit. Like, I know you can't stand remakes either. If you're going to remake something, you need to remake something that failed initially, right? Like, that's my thoughts on it. Like,
I have passed over oh my god, Interview with the Vampire on Amazon Prime, and I have yet to think about even watching it because they remade Interview with the Vampire. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they remade it.
Ooh,
Did you not see the new South Park movie? Where they replaced all the characters?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a bunch about it.
Well, you need to go watch the trailer for it.
I've seen the trailer. It looks hilarious.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's why I haven't watched the new Interview with the Vampire.
Well, I mean, they're completely after, hey, take it how you want to take it. They're totally after our people because they keep taking gingers out of everything and replacing them.
Well, it's not just gingers.
But it's mostly gingers.
I'll leave it at that.
It's mostly gingers. Like
it's more than just gingers.
There's been we are up to 174 redheaded characters that have been replaced.
I'll leave it at that. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
And why are they killing all the heroes that look like me? I don't think that's fair. Like awesome red chin. Now I have to play things like supervillains, like Dr. Robotnik in my Robotnik costume and shit.
Dr. Robotnik costume is pretty damn cool.
You got to see it up close and personal. Like,
yeah, that was funny. That was exquisitely well done too.
Thank you. Yeah, when last time one of the last time Neptune's come up here, when we finally met, I jumped out of the car dressed in full Robotnik gear. all he could do was shake his head.
Yeah, that was very well done, though.
I am. It is. So, I have been super excited about getting into this live thing and stuff like that. I'm glad we actually took this dive this evening to do this and whatnot. Like, it's definitely a bit of a change of pace from doing our recordings. I do want you guys to start looking out on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. That's going to be our total time slot moving forward. We will have some recorded episodes with guests and stuff like that in the future, so you guys make sure you pay attention for that. But I do want you guys to come in and check us out on Wednesdays. You can always watch the replay of this over there on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, and listen to it on all of our audio channels like as normal. But this has been good. I've liked where this has gone. You guys don't understand. This is the chaos of our group chat. If you could only see,
this is pretty mild.
This is
pretty
on
mild.
purpose. On purpose.
Yeah.
On purpose, because we get all over the place.
This wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes on YouTube if this was the Unchained chat.
Well, just think when the rest of the co-hosts are here to join us, how unchained it's going to be in this place. Because I would like everybody to know everybody's still doing good and out there. In fact, I've been talking to Kel almost this entire episode. He's been tuning in on the side over here and messaging me about what's going on. Kel's doing good. I'm gonna do an actual recorded episode with him and let him come on and tell everybody what's been going on with him, because good Lord, this man has been shot 3 times in the past year, and that's just the peak of the iceberg of the crap that he's sitting here telling me. And so good vibes towards Kel out there, man. He said he's doing good and things are coming together. He's looking to head towards mine and Neptune's way, so who knows. And Steven's been great. Luis would have totally been here with us this evening, but Mr. Fancy Pants is out there probably at one of his cool parties that he sends his pictures to. I love you, Luis.
He had a photo shoot tonight.
I mean, yeah. Look, did you see the video of the place he was sharing with us last night?
If there's got to be a choice, I mean, he made the right choice.
That's true. It's probably safer to go hang out with the photo people than it is us. And our newest addition, Jesse, that you guys met a little while ago, I was talking to him today too. He's totally on board for our Wednesdays. And Ox as well. He's going to try to work some stuff in to where he can join us as well. Ox has been up to some great things too, man. You guys should totally catch up on that. I can't wait to share. I want him to share it. So I've got more things planned and stuff for these lives. This was kind of us dipping our feet in the water this first time, just to see how it was going to go, see what kind of reactions we got. I've seen people in the audience over there on not only YouTube, but also our brand new channel over there at UA the Podcast on Kick, where you will always be able to find these lives. And I'm going to try to grow this as much as I can so I can get all y'all in here. Like I said, you'll be able to watch the recast of it and everything too. So yeah. I'm trying to evolve, I guess, trying to keep up with things in my own weird way. I don't know. It's pure chaos up here, and I just figure I get to let you guys enjoy the chaos, because for some reason you guys keep asking me to do this stuff. We can honestly say that we do these things because people like it, and why not? That, it's fun for me, and it's better than therapy to sit here and talk with my homies than it is to go sit with some crazy shrink and them tell me that I need something wrong with me. I don't know. Ramble. But I do want to thank everybody that has tuned in and checked us out this evening, and everybody that stayed with UA Podcast since in our ups and downs of this whole time. We are back. I want to say that, definitely. So I look forward to where our adventures take us, and look forward to what the future holds for sure. There is, just too much going on in the world for us to stay silent. That's a definite for sure. You can't deny that. But I don't want to continue to ramble too much this evening, as I don't really have too much left to ramble about this evening. I'm going to go around like I'd usually do on the regular thing and start asking the guys if they got any final thoughts for this evening, starting with Bandit.
Nah, man.
No, why not?
No,
You ain't got nothing.
I mean, we covered all of the covered. Well, I mean, we got off track like
On
with
purpose.
video games and movies and TV and stuff like that. I didn't expect that, and I'm the one that started it. But I mean, we basically covered everything that the hot news items that we were going to talk about. Which, if you've paid attention,
I really
if
hope
you've
I
paid
get a
attention-
Tristan rant before this is over about the
Yeah,
ATF.
if you ever pay attention to any of our podcasts, you know that it is almost impossible for us to
Talk about one
maintain talking points. We always veer off in one direction or another. So I would say that this was definitely a plus.
Nice. And Bandit, I appreciate
I think
you
it's
joining
because we
me.
can't-
And
Yeah.
and not only do I appreciate you joining me, but we've talked about this before in the past, and I know I just kind of said, hey, we're gonna do this next week, but I appreciate you sticking with me like you always do with it, man. Like you original crew here tonight. I can definitely say, minus Ox, original crew here tonight, like where this stuff started and where it's gonna keep going. So, yep. Neptune, you got anything for me? Please tell me you got something to say about the ATF before we get out of here tonight.
I do want to hold that thought until we're until our next one.
Fair.
Mainly because that one's going to go for a while. But I will say this much of the ATF is that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms should be a convenience store and not a government agency. But yeah, we'll be sharing some thoughts about the injunction next time around. That's probably going to take up probably a good 20, 30 minutes. So I don't want to start on a whole separate rant on that because I will not shut up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I like I said,
That's okay.
I was playing with some stuff, and I figured this first one we'd run about an hour and a half. Our shows
This is
usually
a good time.
Our shows usually run in this area to 2 hours as it is anyway. Maybe with a few more heads in here, it might roll a little longer. Who knows what we have? Like I said, who knows what we have in store for the future of things? Like I did make a mention earlier that I will be re-uploading this podcast on all of our normal stations. So if you're tuning in on Rumble, BitChute, or Odyssey, or any of the audio stations, you will be able to find everything that you need for it on everyone's favorite website online. You guys know where I'm going with this. The home for all our crazy nonsense and everything that deals with it. Unconstitutionalawakening.com, man. Everything's still good with the website. I've been talking to Neptune, and we're going to be making some updates and some cool changes to it real soon. So y'all make sure y'all stay in on there. Jesse's still writing. He said he's going to put us up a new article here real soon. Maybe I'll get us a new article up here real soon too, since I've been kind of quiet. There's definitely all kinds of good stuff there in the and where the podcast and more section is and stuff like that. Like it's make sure you guys check out everything. You can find things where we're on at other places. In fact, those of you that are watching tonight, you can catch us live tomorrow night as a guest over there with Nate on the Reality Czars. That's going to be going on tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a fun time. I ain't talked to Nate in a while. And as usual, there's all kinds of good things there, and there's always all kinds of good ways to get a hold of us. You guys can totally get a hold of us, not only at the website, but on Facebook at Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates, as well as at Defeat the Media on Facebook. Also, you can find us over there on TikTok at tiktok.com or / or whatever, UA the podcast, or Jimbob Oval Shorts 101. It's real easy to find us over there. Same as Unconstitutional Awakening on Instagram and Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast over there on Twitter. I try to keep us in all the good places where we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be doing our things or whatever. So, you guys just try to keep up with us as best as you can. There's links to all of that on the website, as well as links to our fantabulous sponsors that are still out there doing our thing, our friends in Liberty, man. You guys don't forget to find their links at the bottom of the website. Everything from soaps to homeschool stuff, man. We've got it all. And I know in the past I've left you guys with jokes and stuff for the evening. And I was thinking about it, and I still totally want to leave you guys with a joke, but I actually have a final thought on the evening. And it's a conspiracy related thought, and I want everybody that's out there listening, watching, checking this out for the first time. Dog food is 100% a conspiracy. Hear me out. dog food was created to dumb down dogs, just like boxed food was created to dumb down humans. Like our grandparents' dogs lived almost forever, and all they ever ate was what they caught in the yard and table scraps. And then somebody one day was like, "Hey, we can feed dogs corn grain." And I'm telling you, there's a conspiracy with dog food. Whether you want to believe it or not, you should totally look into it. I know it sounds crazy, but of course, like I said, I do want to leave you guys with a joke too, because, you know, why not? So, why do walruses love a Tupperware party? They're always on the lookout for a tight seal. Good night, everyone.